You'll have to excuse my throat, I'm a little bit hoarse. I've got a bit of a bad throat at the moment, hence I'm just going to come out and get some nice fresh air, cook up a nice little meal for myself and relax in the woods, taking in the lovely scenery. But while I'm out, it's time to cook up a little storm as well. So I'll be using this today. I'm going to be cooking up with some noodles, but there's a difference with this. Today we've gone ultralight on the cook set, so I'm going to be using this. Is literally cardboard, also known as Boilmate. Now this product is due to come out on Kickstarter very soon, so I'm pleased to try this out, you know. So this is quite unique. Like I said, it is basically cooking in cardboard. I think. Well, let's have a look. So I don't actually want to be disturbed, I just want to have a nice relaxing spot this evening, sit down, give myself a cook up. As you can see, I'm in a nice little spot, nice little wood spot. I just want to be able to relax tonight. So let's have a look. It's going to be released on Kickstarter. So this is Boilmate. Now, I'm going to try this out. This is seriously ultra light. Like I said, it feels like cardboard. But what we're going to do is have a nice little cook up, have some noodles, and see how it goes. Now this thing needs to be cooked over an open flame. So what I might have to do, dig a little hole, we'll see how we get on. Now, Boilmate is an ultralight cooking solution for people that just want to get out. You know what I'm like? When I've got to get out, I've got to get out. I need to go and relax. So today, I'm going to have a nice chill out session, have a nice bite to eat. Let's see how this works. Now, obviously, I may use a lighter or I may use a lock and flint. And obviously, we're going to need some water. We're going to have to eat with chopsticks, hence noodles. Right, like I said, this is being released on Kickstarter very soon, or may even be on there now. Now, what I received in the pack was a little grill for Anyfold cartridges. And I also received some noodles. Now, let's have a look at one. So like I said, got the grill and then you got 4 cartridges, which we'll have a look at them any second. Let's crack it open. So to make this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of 3 burners. So I've got these little burners that I use, bigger one, smaller one, 30 or 50 millilitres, and I've got one of these as well. Bearing in mind that the flame cannot go above the grill. So depending on the wind, I may use a windshield, and obviously to protect the ground from not burning, I'm going to use a plate that sits on the bottom that protects the floor. Now there is many different ways that you can use the Boilmate. I'll probably be using this method, which is just a plate, and I'll probably use this when kayaking, multi-day trips. It is kind of heavy, may look at getting a lighter one, but what I may have to do, like I said, so the flame doesn't exceed the height of this, I might sink pizza stove into the ground a bit. Hopefully, obviously that may stop the wind as well, but it'll make a better cook-up session. Now, like I said, I can either use the plate, burner straight on that with a bit of wind protection around the sides just to give it a little protection. Also using the stand just so I can cook away. Using the grill on top, which this is where the fold will come to the ends. But for now, I'm going to sink it into the ground a bit so as the flame doesn't exceed the height of the grill. Right, so I'm just going to use my little ultralight stove, as it is a fully ultralight system that we're using today. Put that in there. Now this is a 30 millilitre stove. I'm going to put plenty of juice on. Now like I said, there's 2 ways that I can raise the stove up. Raise the platform, I can either use that, or if I want to make this an ultralight system, I could just use pegs. Why not? So let's put the grill on. So you could use it in that kind of sense. Obviously get them down to the same level and use it like so. Now I'm just going to try the height of the flame, and I think I'm going to put a little bit of wind deflector around here. That doesn't seem to look too bad, to be honest. Let's have a cook up. So as it stands, it don't look too bad. The flame's got to be underneath the actual grill while cooking. What we're going to do is we're going to rip it open, unfold it, set it up. Pretty simple. Weighs, oh my god. I'll put it on the scales later and I'll show you up there. So like I said, it is basically cardboard, and this is it. You physically just unfold it. Nice, quick and easy. And the base, it literally just feels like cardboard, but I can only assume it's got protection on the outside by some kind of coating. So if you look on the back, it gives you some little idea of how to unfold it, and you can crack on, put it on the burner. Now bearing in mind, you can actually use these a couple of times, or I think it's 2 to 3 times, so they can fully unfold like origami, and then you can wash it. I'll put it back together, and what I'm going to do is fill this with water and cook up some noodles. Now I've only filled it halfway, and I'm going to add the noodles now. So these are the noodles that came with the pack. I'm going to shove these in and try it out. Inside the pack comes with 3 little sachets. Yeah, definitely ultra-light camping if you like. A couple of these you set up for the evening, especially if you like your noodles. Brings a whole new meaning to the word ramen or going to Wagmama's. Right, so while this is going through and starting to boil, so while this is cooking up a storm, I'm going to take you through the instructions. So like I said previously, the actual thing is called Boilmate, and this is on Kickstarter now. Ultra-light kind of cook up. Pretty good. Word of warning though, when you do cook up with this, you've got to make sure that the flame doesn't exceed the mesh, otherwise it could cook up the handles. But for someone that's going to go out hiking, I think this is kind of a nice little, very cheap way of having a meal if you don't want to take your titanium pots out or any other pots. So if you're after any technical specs, you best look on Transcarton, and I'll stick that down there. You can go on there and that kind of tell you all about it. So when you cook this up, obviously the water can only go about halfway up the container itself. It's extremely lightweight and portable, and I'm quite impressed, but I'm giving it some time to cook up, so I don't know how long it really takes to boil. What would I say about the advantages over traditional cooking? It's a pretty windy day, as you can see the wind behind me, but I would have this in a scenario where you want to be relaxed in the woods. I don't like using sometimes a jet boil because it's too loud. You use a burner, sometimes they're too loud. This is so relaxing just to watch it just boil up. Now, like I said, it is a pretty windy day. Flame is knocking around a bit, so I keep moving the windbreaker around. So on top of the noodles, I don't want to just have noodles, do I? Along with some mushrooms, leek, and a few other little tantalising pieces. Right, so considering the water's nice and hot now, what I'm going to do, start adding a bit of veg. Oh, I smell that. So that is the seasoning powder, and we'll just mince that around with my chopsticks. Right, there's the seasoning in, and get some flavour in there. What I might do as well is get some of my veg in there. Get that warming up, let's mince that up a bit with my chopsticks. Oh, the smell of that, oh my god. I wish I knew what it was. So if anybody knows what the smell of this is, if anybody knows what it is, leave it in the comments below. Let's just mince that up. Get it into the hot water, try it out, see what it's like. I do say, you know, I am trying this on a windy day. As you can see, the flame's a little bit erratic. It comes with 3 pouches, so I'm going to assume you shove them all in. Non-dairy creamer. So in there, I've got some mushrooms, leek, onion, obviously the noodles, and loads of flavourings. God, I was not expecting that for taste. That was, wow. Seriously, this is like going out to Wagmama's in the forest. Oh my god, it's so nice. Oh, it's so hot as well. Like I said, the actual product's called Boilmate, but it's going to be out on Kickstarter soon, or it may already be out. So like I said, it's literally, you unfold the hyper lightweight carton, pour your water in, put your food in, boil away. If you want something different from your outdoor experience, then this is it. That is so nice. Wow. I will say it does take a little bit of heating, as water does. It's not a jet boil, this is a Boilmate, and it works. So you can either eat it out of the carton, but I actually bought my food here in a bit of Tupperware, and I've just transferred it over to that. I've never had noodles in such a relaxing environment. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try and make some soup as well inside this, using a bit of potato, carrots, and some more veg. So a little bit of stock, a little bit of carrots, potato, and we're going to chuck this into the Boilmate and see how well it works again. So I'm just going to give that a quick wash out. These are only supposed to be used 2 to 3 times. I'll give it a little rinse out, and then I'll make some soup up. Straight off the hook, this is not like conventional cooking where you've got to try and, you know, scrub out your titanium pots. That's how clean it is, and all I've done is put a little bit of water in. Let's look underneath. It's not even burnt. They're only going to be used 2 or 3 times. I'm actually really impressed. So I'm going to use this once more to make some soup. I want to keep these for maybe future adventures. So this time I'm going to change the burner. I'm going to use this one this time. It's got a bit of a higher flame. Try it out. Cook up again. Put the water in. So halfway up and let it rock on. Right, so while that's boiling, I'm going to finish off what I had on the first one, because that was gorgeous. I'm actually so impressed. I didn't think I would be, I'm not going to lie. For a piece of cardboard to withstand the flame, yeah, I'm impressed. Now, what I've got in there this time is sweet potato, mushroom, potato, leek, and some garlic, and we're going to add some spices in a minute. Like I said again, you've got to be wary that the flame doesn't catch on to these wings or the little handles, otherwise you could end up with a bit of a mess. The old juice is flowing. You can't beat a nice concoction of juices. Chopsticks back in, the old spoon out for this one. I have to leave that in there for quite a while, as it's got to obviously moisten all the veg. Bit of sage in there, with some salt and pepper. So at the moment, my Boilmate Anyfold cooking away. Now, I'm very impressed. I've used this Anyfold twice now, and well, like I said, it's cooking up my soup. So yeah, really looking forward to this one. Noodles beforehand, I don't know what was in them, but they were gorgeous. So Boilmate is definitely a unique piece of kit. I think it's definitely for the people that want to relax when they're out, want to have a nice time, just chill out really. Yeah, it's boiling away my soup lovely. Like I said, these are only meant to last 2 or 3 times. You can wash them out, but it's so nice to be able to sit out in the woods and cook something up and not have to clean any titanium pots up or clean any kind of pots up whatsoever. Ultra lightweight, and I mean ultra lightweight. You're cooking in cardboard. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of my soup into my cup, transfer some of this food over too. Some more mushies in there. Nice. Oh, chuffed. This is better than my wife's cooking. She's going to kill me. But if you are going to cook veg in it, it will take time. If you're using bioethanol, it will take a little bit more longer than you expect. But as all veg does, it takes time. Enjoy your time in nature. Enjoy your time. Don't go out. Don't create fires. And keep safe. I'll put all the individual weights up here of what my kit weighs for this ultralight setup. Now it's time for me to shoot off, and I shall see you soon. Just a quick reminder, this is now going live, or is live, on Kickstarter. I don't know how much it's retailing for at the moment, but obviously a Kickstarter you get a nice price, especially for your early birds. I think it's time for me to pack up. Also, I'm not affiliated with the company that make these. They just sent me them and asked for me for my review on how I felt about them and asked me to try them out. Yeah, so this is the second time I've washed this out, and as you can see, there is no burns bar that faded bit there on the inside. It's really weird, man. Would you even know I'd been here? So that was my Boilmate review. It's now out on Kickstarter, or you're actually viewing this on Kickstarter, but this is my little review of the Boilmate on Kickstarter. Should be on there now. I actually rate this. If you're really into getting outside, getting out, being in nature, it's actually a little bit of a good bit of kit. So like I said, Boilmate, it ain't that bad. And as for those noodles, the flavours that came with them noodles were just out of this world. This was a cheap wag mamas for me.